Okay, I believe I'm live. I am live. Yeah. Okay. Hi, everybody, and thank you all for whoever is out there, and attending this meditation. Um, my meditations are and teachings are based on and to facilitate the teachings for humanity, and for humanity to harmonize, to bring about harmony within the world. And it's not an easy thing. I've been teaching that over and over about how it is about the influence of harmony, and harmony is Shambhala. Yeah, the outcome of harmony is happiness. Yeah, it takes a lot to get from where we're at to where that's at. Yeah, but it exists all the time. Yeah, it's where I come from. Yeah, and it is not affected by this place at all. We are way above this place. Yeah, we are not part of the incarnation. Yeah, we're not part of the cycle of life. Yeah, we exist and coexist at the same time that humanity exists. Yeah, and I'm the only one who comes from there. Yeah, you call us angels. Yeah, you call it heaven. Yeah, I call it Shambhala, home. Yeah, and it's where I come from. Yeah, and I'm the first one to show up here and give these teachings called the teachings of the Kali Chakra, or to give you a teaching that would be a teaching from Buddha. Yeah, and I'm Buddha. Yeah, and in the influence of giving the teachings, I come with the manifestation of Shambhala. Yeah, because I'm the Lord of Shambhala. Yeah, and the influence of Shambhala is harmony. And so what radiates out of me is harmony. But in order to deal with humanity's relationship to the world, I have to teach. I have to teach by expression, by my action, by my lives, many lives, and all of them based on my nature. So my nature is what creates harmony. And my nature is kindness. And it's not, it's inside of everything. It's inside of every living thing. But it's not what is manifested. So by me being here, I give the teachings of turning the wheel of Dharma. And that's just by me talking, or giving this darshan, or existing. Because once I don't exist, I go back to Shambhala, and I'm not here. But I'm still here. And those who follow my teaching continue to receive me as their teacher, even though I'm not physically here. So I take emanations. I take lesser incarnations until I, me, can come back. So the last time I was known here was during the time of Jesus and Padmasambhava, but not as well as the influence that I give in this life. Because all those lives are my previous incarnations, emanations. So, but each one of them, they represent me as I am. And who I am is exactly the same person I am in Shambhala. That's why Tibetans come to my house. That's why they go to war with my dad. That's why, things happened around me that didn't happen around anybody else. Books are written about it. History of Jesus is the only thing that parallels it. Because it was the same thing. But the influence of the fourth ray is a very difficult ray to manifest if you're a teacher. Because it requires people to take the middle way, That's difficult because there are two ways to people. They either are over the top on one thing or they're over the top on another thing. That's why I call it the middle way. I'm neither of those things. So in order to make this thing better, you gotta be neither of those things too. And it's not like a commandment or something. It's an opportunity. While you have me here walking around and talking, because I'm not here all the time, I can show you that your biggest problem is that you take advantage of the incarnation of the avatar and you miss it. And you think it's going to last forever. 33 years old is a big shock when you walk out of people's lives and you think you just got there. But I'm not in charge. It all depends on my students, whether or not they need a teacher and whether or not they can handle the teacher. And if they can't, then they beat the shit out of me and kill me, and I resurrect and walk away. And I do that a lot. And I stayed for a long time. So I have proof in history that I can help you with in relationship to Jesus and, the relationship to humanity and Buddhism. That he wasn't the Hebrew Messiah that the Hebrew thought the Messiah should be. It was a planetary logos. It wasn't a person coming out of humanity as a regular person who's going to be anointed by the power of another spirit and be taken over. All New Age people believe that. Even the Hebrews believe that. Everybody kind of believes that. Because the devil does that. And where I come from, we don't do that. You either wake up or you don't. And if you do, I get clearer. I'm more understandable. And Shambhala literally descends on earth. And earth ascends to Shambhala and it meets middle way. So the whole thing is based on middle way. It's no weight on my shoulders because I'm sitting in the middle way. I'm not pushing, I'm not pulling. I just am to give this teaching, and I'm not alone in it. So in Tibet, I'm known as this person, the Buddha. And the influence of Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, was the initiator of the middle way and the initiator of the Kala Chakra and the initiator of understanding the middle way, which created the teaching of the Kala Chakra. And for 1,500 years, these people who gathered to support the teachings of just the Kali Chakra, which is called Kali Chakra Tantra, an esoteric form of teaching, not an exoteric form. Exoteric is where you open up a book and you read and you learn. But esoteric is that you have to become that. You have to attune to it. You have to seek and understand it. So in the Kali Chakra, we follow science, we follow philosophy, we follow mind, we follow theory. And we follow the mind. And it makes incredible wise masters. And where I come from, on earth, is people who are the incredible wise masters. They're hanging out. And they're at a place called Zamthang, who's the head of the Kali Chakra in all of China, all of Tibet. It's the whole entire historical value of Buddha himself. It's of the Sakya lineage, which is from Gautama Buddha. And it holds the meditation cycle of the Kala Chakra, which is the Jonan. And that's a beginning cycle just 50 years, 100 years after the time of Buddha. The gathering of people who were real scholars that wanted to really, really, really study and then apply it. Yeah? So their meditation became the Kala Chakra Tantra, and they became the Jonot. And they became high initiates that practiced only certain things that allowed spontaneity and freedom to become the way in which you wake up. Yeah, get rid of habits. Get rid of old habits, develop the new self. Yeah, and you become less all these things that you thought you were supposed to do or could do or should do, and then you become what it is that you are seeking. Yeah, you become more and more and more Buddha nature. And from that, you understand more and more and more what it is I'm saying that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense at first, but after a while, it starts to make more sense. And that's esoteric. That's Tantra. Yeah, that's how the Kala Chakra works. Yeah, it's not a focus on study, but it's a focus on meditation. So this group of people, I'll show you this this monastery. It's kind of a neat place. This is it here. This is Amthing. This is a very small portion of it. But this is the main hall. And this is where the big Maitreya statue is at, and the hall of meditation and puja is at. Yeah, so this is where I sit when I'm there, and this is where they meditate, taking refuge under me. And this is... that's me. You see that little person underneath that great big statue of Buddha Maitreya. That's me, Buddha Maitreya under Buddha Maitreya. Yeah. But Buddha Maitreya, in their mind, Buddha Maitreya is Buddha. Yeah. And that's the middle way. That's the essence, that's the teaching, that's the refuge. And so there's no cut in lineage in the Jonot. No separation. That's the point of it. Yeah, you meditate to the point to where you do not have bigotry. You do not have separation. You do not have jealousy. You do not have enviousness. All those things are gone. And all you have is kindness. An immense amount of kindness. Yeah? Everything else doesn't exist. Yeah? You are just kindness. Yeah? So that's what these people are working on, and that's the essence that's being transmitted through their meditation. And their meditation is forthright. Because imagine trying to control your mind and do all those different things, you know, to bring things into balance when you're such a high meditator. Yeah? You're constantly working on that forthright. Constantly. Yeah? And you can't be thinking because it puts it back up in the brow. Because that's what makes it go to hell. That's what creates samsara. That's what creates the suffering you're looking at and you're hearing about and you're experiencing in your emotional body, but you personally aren't experiencing it because there's really just, everybody's got their own means of suffering. Yeah. Yeah. But we feel it all. That's Buddhism. The problem is that we are so insensitive that it deadens our kindness. You know, so we build all these glamours. Yeah. And so the influence in meditation with these people, and now in, I think, 2000, I don't know when this was, but it's been quite a while now since I've taken that enthronement. And since I accepted that I would take that enthronement, and I started taking all the other enthronements in the year 2000. Yeah, so that's 18 years now that a great deal of this influence is coming into interaction, and it's causing a lot of balance in the world that people don't know about. You know, the externalization. If you imagine, the influence of Shambhala is the influence of the pyramid, but you're talking about the capstone. Yeah, the very tip of the pyramid. That's Shambhala. Yeah, that's the harmony. That's where God touched matter. Yeah, and that's when God takes form, and thought form becomes reality. in mind, at least in the mind of Buddha, yeah, and in the hearts and the mind of the children of Buddha, yeah, and they're all sitting in this pyramid, like, you know, in some essential divine way. That's what Shambhala is. It creates the divine, organized reality of the manifestation of God, yeah, not as a machine, but as a spontaneity. It only takes place if spontaneity is allowed to happen, if human rights are allowed to take place, if jealousy is burnt up. Yeah? Yeah? If you think of hell, the flames of hell is jealousy and enviousness. Those are the flames. Yeah? That's what burns you. Yeah? That's what causes your heart attack. That's what brings your cancer. Yeah? Yeah? Just jealousy and enviousness. Those are the two most profound evil forces on earth. Yeah? They create, imagine jealousy and enviousness. That goes all the way into everything. Into money, into wanting to rule a world, wanting to rule a universe. Yeah? Yeah? Lucifer wanting to be God. Yeah? Yeah? It can't be. It cannot exist. Yeah? It doesn't exist. It exists only in the heartlessness of not giving. Once you start not giving, then glamours begin. Yeah? It's an automatic process. Yeah? So the transition inside of humanity is a lot easier than you would think, as long as we have the hierarchy. And the hierarchy does exist. Yeah? And I sit at the center of that hierarchy, and it's a phenomenon that this has gone on. This is manifested. This is in the world. Yeah? Because the world's just full of, you know, bullshit. Yeah? Yeah? Things that aren't real. Yeah? But in cases where things are real, yeah, where you see here, you know, their relationship of recognizing the Tuku and going through all the meditative relationships of those sciences that I talked about. They are the science of philosophy, yeah, astronomy, yeah, the higher realms of physics that's way above, yeah, Einstein and anybody else. It's where they get that information. All of this, the highest of mind, the highest of science, philosophy, everything is in the meditative minds of this group. Yeah? So when they go to interrogate and check and see if Buddha's alive and their teacher's there and they're going to start putting things together, all of that goes into play. It's an immediate process. Yeah? And it's from this group that they would find my address. They'd actually know the name of my first child. Yeah? They'd say, wow, we need to meet Ananda. Yeah. I said, what? I said, well, we're here for Ananda. You know we're here for you, but we're here for Ananda. When can we see Ananda? I said, too soon, I think. He's not too into jumping into the Tibetan Buddhist monastery lifestyle, you know. And I didn't think that was ever going to come around, you know. But if things change, you never know. But the main thing is transmission. They know of his existence. Yeah? So they've had him, they have pictures, they pray, they know of the lineage incarnation, you know, and they hold that because that's very special to find the direct disciple who was alive during the time of Gautama Buddha. Yeah? Whether he's doing what in this life, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that they found him, just like they found me. Yeah? And that's my job. That's all of our jobs, is to find the saints. Yeah? Help them wake up. Because it's easier for them to wake up than people who's never met me before. Yeah? Who's never taken teachings before. Yeah? And there are millions of people who have. Yeah? So if you start on the top, it radiates out immediately. And it raises people up, because each one of these, like Naropa, has hundreds of thousands of disciples who know him really intimately. You know, just up to even up to this life. Yeah, so coming in contact with that and furthering that through the acts of kindness. Yeah, I'm not moved to go someplace because I know Naropa's going to be there, and that would be really good to know Naropa. None of that goes on. Yeah, I'm completely innocent. I'm just going there because I said I'd help. Yeah, and then they come at me by the dozens all day long, like I'm the richest man on earth. Yeah, and not one of them was turned away. Every single one of them was helped. Yeah, and then when I gave my first teachings, I gave the teachings of kindness because that's my teachings. Yeah, and because of all that, they finalized my authorization and gave me certificates. Because that's exactly the way they see the wheel is going to be turned, because it's so difficult to do those actions. It's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to do it. Yeah, and to pull it off. Yeah, a poor man coming from a place where he hardly even has a house, and he's saying, I will help you with millions of dollars over the next year. Oh yeah, sure. And I do it. Yeah. By doing darshan after darshan after darshan and traveling from one event to the next. And through those activities, it supported the building and the manifestation and the healing of all these groups. Yeah. So it's through activity and transmission that the world has changed. Yeah. And no one knows this stuff is going on. No one knows it in the background that it's going on. Yeah. But it is. Yeah. There's very strong processes manifesting, and the key to it is that we're moving into something that nobody actually has. And everybody thinks, oh, I can get those teachings, I understand those teachings, because they're all from a linear side of the world, And I'm not from that linear side of the world. So no one could say, I understand what he's saying, The only place they can come from is that I want to be a student, I'll follow him, I'll do whatever he says, And I don't do that sort of thing. I give people the opportunity, to turn the wheel. And if the world is ready for monastic life and moving into saving the entire earth, I'm ready. But if they're not, I'll wait. Yeah? And I will be the monastic life, the singular one individual monastic life. And I'll bring up all the masters into the process, where right now they're stuck in a dark lodge of not being able to externalize their true monastic life. They're stuck in inertia with a group of beings that are so hundreds of years behind reality, they won't even take me in that relationship, other than major masters within it that sit on the side, who's not under the control of that political or power process that goes on by the Lunar Lords. Yeah, so it's harmony through conflict. It's a process of what really is causing the problems on this planet. And it's delusions of grandeur, It's people thinking, that, here I am, incarnated in teaching, and people jump to an illusion that they already are my student. Yeah. Oh, I've been a Buddhist for 20 years. Yeah. But you've never been my student, so you've never been a Buddhist. Yeah. You're a philosopher. You're practicing a philosophy. Maybe you changed your diet last week. Yeah. But this isn't the same thing. Yeah. It's very different. I'm not a doctor to tell you what to do, and I'm not anything like that. But, you can learn. Yeah. And if you take the time to want to learn, then the process of harmony through conflict will take place. Yeah. But everything is built in the process of this throat center pushing down into the sacral center. So activity and talking and thinking and all that stuff is false Buddhism. Does that make sense? Yeah? It's false Christianity, it's false politicalism, it's false isms. It's all based on that third ray going down. And every ism, everything that creates separation in the world is created by that. So Just try and consider that maybe there already is a rhythm to this thing. Yeah? And you might want to join the rhythm rather than beat your own drum. Yeah. Yeah. I read that. If you read about Shambhala, you'll read the same thing. You'll find in Tibetan Buddhism they base Shambhala as harmony, and they base the relationship on the way to Shambhala, the path, as kindness. Yeah, and how to get rid of all those habits that keep you from those manifestations, are the practice that come in through the meditation. But it's all done through mind. Yeah, it's not done through, I changed my way of talking or changed my way of thinking or, things like that. But it's by consciousness of knowing that you really need to change it. Yeah, not that it's an evil. Not that it's a good, yeah? Just that you're not going to lose anything just by letting it go, yeah? And then the only thing that can happen from that is that what's pushing you, which is a matrix of delusions and illusions mixed up in Maya, yeah? Creating samsara and suffering, yeah? That's heavy. That's a lot of pressure to keep you going like that, yeah? So I say listen to my CDs. Even me, I have been playing 24/7. Yeah. And the process of using the weaver, wear it. Wear a solar form. Yeah. But that's not enough. You got to receive teachings, because it's the teachings. It's what I do in teaching. That literally takes all your karma of misuse of that third ray, and I keep you from talking for maybe 2 hours. Yeah. And in that, you're listening. And you're listening to me. In my mind, and my words are a lot higher than yours. Yeah. So I can move you upward. Yeah. To be part of yourself. Yeah. Calm enough to have self-awareness. Maybe it's not so bad to be the student. Because you got to learn, if you want to be a student, you got to be a student. And you're not a student by being sixth ray. Yeah? You're a student by having a strong seventh ray. Yeah? And a strong ability to carry out anything that needs to be done. Yeah? Goodwill in action. It's right relationship. It's service. It's not sacrifice. It's giving, sharing, caring. It's kindness. Yeah, that's the habit that you break. Does that make sense? Instead of talking, it's walking. Yeah. Instead of complaining, it's doing. And no comment about the doing. Just doing. Yeah. You find out you probably do less. Yeah. Because you'll find that other people are doing more. And the whole Maya of people not getting it is gone. Yeah? As long as you shut your mouth, yeah? And slow your mind down. Try not to communicate so much. Yeah? And give people the time to get what they need done. Yeah? Let things be. Because, it's a process. There's this whole process of awakening in humanity in order to gain the balance. And the balance is in an esoteric way. I teach it about chakras that, we've got this problem with the brow, And humanity is much, much more psychic than you could ever imagine. Much more psychic than you can ever imagine, yeah? They can save people. They can know where things are at and they shouldn't know it. Yeah? They could see the future. They can understand the past by letting go of it and then see it in a bigger picture and then understand it. Yeah? Problem is myopia. Yeah? If you look back in the past, you look at it with myopia. You, another person, circumstance, very myopic. It's destructive. But if you relax, let it go. Same event's still there, but now you're looking at it from a little wider picture. And you're getting the essence of it. and you're not in an inquisition toward why did this happen and what is going on. All that kind of stuff goes away. And you're just relaxing, but you're still seeing the picture. Yeah? But the picture starts making sense. Yeah? It's okay. Whatever happened, it was okay. Does that make sense? You don't have to know why. Yeah? If you pull back far enough, you get a sense that it's okay. And then you begin to see and understand as life goes on, you get wiser. And everything makes sense. Yeah? You can get that out of your life. It will come back around. You don't have to wait till your next life. Yeah? Other people, they're not mimicking anything. We're just all one. Yeah? So we can work out what we think need to be worked out with a certain person. It is not worked out that way, really. It's worked out with everyone, in everything. So if you step back and become less myopic, yeah, your fourth way will drop to your base center, and you'll be like a lotus, you know, blessing whatever's going on. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah. But if you're not, you know, then you're just, you know, like a very great potential sitting there, but never willing to blossom, you know. And guess of everything that is lost, you know, the birds and the bees, everything in nature is lost if you don't blossom. And then you got to give, you know. You know, everything smells, tastes, you know, the nectar, the love, the kundalini, the power, the force. Does that make sense? I mean, what you see in flowers, nothing compared to you. Nothing. Yeah? But no flower goes around intellectually thinking it's the most superior flower on the planet. Yeah? Or it would die. It would become a disease or something. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's Shambhala. The teaching of Shambhala's relationship to harmlessness. That's a simple way of saying it, yeah, because the outcome of kindness is harmlessness. And in order to get there, you got to practice harmlessness. And so my teaching of harmlessness is the foundation of helping people better understand the path. Yeah. So that instead of, you know, describing all the vices and all the negative things, you know, it's better just to understand what the real thing needs to be taken care of is making harm. Yeah. And that harm can come from selfishness, and selfishness can happen without conscious knowing. Yeah? It is not something that is consciously unknown because it's called a personality. That in itself veils it. Does that make sense? It's got to live. It's got to exist, you know? It's like plucking your eyeball out, thinking that another one will grow back. What a silly fool. But it will. Yeah? You just don't know it. So you're not willing to pluck it. Yeah? Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying pluck any freaking eyeball. Yeah? But I am saying, you know, let it go. Yeah? All the faults, all the delusions, all those things, yeah? If you don't let them go, you know, you're going to, everybody's still going to continue having threads of prejudice and bigotry. And we will watch suffering, and we will not take credit for it because we don't understand. But if you let it go, I promise you, you will understand. And you'll be a great person in this world. And you'll walk the talk, and you'll share, and you'll care, and you'll give. Yeah, does it make sense? Yeah, it's just by nature. Yeah, but it's really a matter of, you know, making sure that you have that spontaneous interaction, that your third ray is focused in the moment and not what you should be doing later or why didn't you do this then, but just right now. I'm looking at, you know, like cooking or rapping or whatever one's doing in our Sangha. You know, it's then, now. That's what you're doing. And if you need to drop from that, you go to something else, you're right there, then, now. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, because that's how it is in life. That's how it is. And in the monastery, that's how the Kala Chakra is taught. Yeah? In the process of following the rhythm and finding out what the rhythm is. Yeah? And follow that rhythm. Don't alter the rhythm. Follow the rhythm. And just take it simple. Just make sure you're a master at everything you come across when you're following the rhythm. Yeah? There's breakfast, lunch, dinner. There's all the things that do. Yeah? Every single one of those things are done with light. Yeah? And if they're done with light, the only way they can be done with light is that there's no negativity surrounding the aura of that person. Does that make sense? Yeah? That ends, that makes, imagine if you have two kind of families, yeah? You have one family over here where nobody, like all the siblings, mother and father, no one really talks together. Yeah, nobody hangs out. No one's interested in what the other person's doing, you know. And they have little fights and squabbles and all this stuff. And they go through life, and then they go off, and they have their families, and they go off and do similar things, on and on and on. And then there's this other family, you know, over here, and they just really have a tendency to care for each other. You know, they talk to each other, they hang out, they just spend time, you know, with each other, and in doing that, they built up a process to where they really want to care for each other. They want to take care of each other, and their sense of the need of another person is more sensitive. You know, not like they're worried about a person, but if something was to go on, they would immediately understand, and they wouldn't like put them down for being an idiot for needing this or something like that. Yeah, they would actually be there, yeah? And they would just help get it done and over with, so it'd be less stress. And that's a family thing. That's a natural thing in relationships. That is a potential. And that's an essence that comes from Shambhala. That's an essence of complementary ways of relating. There's one that's really kind of really terrible, you know. And then there's another way. And then there's all these in-between ways that are kind of like that. You got a good relationship to your brother, but not the rest, you know, all these different things that go on. But most of it is because it's this, going back and forth. There's never really any balance in between. So really the only balance that comes out of it is the essence that's coming from Shambhala. Yeah? And yet we don't know such a thing really does exist. Yeah? Yeah? We want to go, yes, I believe in heaven, you know, yeah? But this is a real thing. This is knock-on, physical thing, real, yeah? Yeah? And therefore, we can make a difference in this whole thing by bringing Shambhala to earth. That would make harmony. That would make harmony, yeah? So by me going out and externalizing and getting enthroned, and I'm doing this in the most patient, kind way. Any person could have ever done such a thing, yeah? Although I've gotten a little, you know, but, you know, it was necessary at the time, yeah? Yeah? So my externalization, my going into these monasteries and externalizing, is a process of bringing Shambhala to the earth, yeah? It's coming into people who are more receptive from long relationships of meditation on the Kali Chakra. Yeah? And then there's people who are students of Padmasambhava, direct disciples also of Tsongkhapa, other direct disciples of Milarepa. All these people are closely around me, yeah? All coming from past and from present, yeah? Just a cycle of my last life to this life, your last life to this life, yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah? So I'm closing a door of the astral plane. Anybody, does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. Where they say close the door of the astral plane, yeah, you're not closing that door. I'm closing that door, yeah. And I close that door by going through this process and restoring these monasteries after they've been to war. You know, like they destroy the electric car, crunch it, take every single one of them, destroy them. There's only a few left. I jump out there and grab one of those few that's left, and I buy it at such a high price it gets in the newspaper. Yeah? People say, what madman would pay $63,000 for a $30,000 car. I got to talk to him. Yeah? So they did. They got me on and they talked to me and they said, why would you do such a thing? And I explained to them, it's necessary. You got to do this for humanity. Got to show Toyota that electric cars work, that they're a valid sense of transportation. We could do this, At the same time, Elon Musk is working on trying to get it together, but has no buyers, no support. Yeah. And right after that, Toyota joined with Elon Musk and joined together to buy the Tesla factory. And the two of them joined together to rebuild the RAV4 that I was put in the newspaper for. That gave humanity the electric car. I did that for $63,000. Investing in me is a good investment. It's true. I don't invest to make money. I don't do that. I actually owned an electric car company. Yeah, for several years. I was the engineer of the electric car company. I designed the electric cars and facilitated the making of the batteries. Batteries in the car was going to go 360 miles. They don't even do that today. That was close to 10 years ago. And I turned that over to Elon Musk. And instead, I went to his place and I signed an agreement to buy his car. And I ended my building of that car. Yeah? So immediately, we had, instead of having that little race car that Elon Musk was focused on, he immediately went and said, if people will start giving me deposits for the sedan, I will build it. I showed up right then and there. Take my money. I'm buying your sedan. Yeah? So I bought the first sedan. First 1,200 sedans built. Yeah? The Model S. It built it. Paid for them to be built. Yeah? It was all through the investment of the people who bought the Model S limited edition. Yeah? And that money would then just funneled right back into building hundreds of other Model S's. Yeah? And that just kept going, and that got them onto the market. So in all the processes, whether it be electric cars or whether it be whatever's in the process of humanity, I'm working to further that process. Yeah? And that's what Kali Chakra is. Kali Chakra is an activity. Yeah? But it's an activity that's done by Buddha. And everybody thinks they're his student. They think they're pulling it off. They got the wise egg, They're the ones who created, Tesla technology. But they're not. Yeah? And the process of the understanding, the clarity, the understanding, is all brought by these energies that go left and right. Competition or different things, people thinking that this is the way it works. And they're missing. What if they have all this telepathy? What if you do such great work and you could be doing it with Jesus Christ? Yeah? And you could find out, oh my God, I really am a disciple. And this is where I got it from. Does that make sense? Yeah? And I'm not sitting, I'm not saying, well, now I want shares. Yeah. I did everything and changed medicine. Yeah? I literally changed medicine by being in it for 3 years. I changed burn unit medicine. I changed surgery. Yeah? I changed the IV bottles from being glass to being plastic, collapsible, safe IVs. I did that. Yeah? I invented it, I designed it, and I showed it to Cutter Lab and to Abbott Laboratories, and they went on with making all these new technologies, all because I handed over several books of designs and inventions that went into medicine. Yeah? I even got kicked out because I put placentas on burn patients, and they walked away having no scars whatsoever, and yet they had major portions of their body was burnt. No debridement, nothing. Yeah? And they thought I was practicing medicine without a license, and I was only 20 years old. Yeah? But I got it on record. Yeah? And now it is a standard. Now we know about stem cells. Now we know about this science that I brought to humanity. And I broke 100 years of this, all this religious dogma, and people saying, oh, we're going to use it against humanity, let's not do stem cells, we're going to use babies, you know, everything to keep sciences from moving forward that would help humanity. I jumped that by at least 30 or 40 years, yeah, just simply by doing it. Yeah. You know, so it's the same with the electric car, it's the same with NASA, it's the same with so many things. Yeah. You know, so it's the activity that goes on inside a Buddha that actually turns the wheel. Yeah? It's not all my activities are actually activities that take place in me, and the emanations are manifested in thought forms by me being the person who's actually giving those ideas to those people, by me having them in my mind. And I send them out, yeah, in a way in which I'm just, you know, inspiring people through aspiration, yeah? And that changes the whole world. All of a sudden we've got every major car manufacturers making electric cars, and they are set to not make any more fossil fuel cars in the next 10 to 15 years. That was impossible just 10 years ago, yeah? And that's all done by the transmission of mind, but yet I'm not given any credit for it. Now that holds back the healing power that I have. Yeah? This intellectual bullshit that humanity plays to veil themselves from the teacher just so that they can take credit for their day-to-day life. Whether it be, I lost 10 pounds, I gained 2 pounds, I look so pretty, I look so ugly, you know, all those things in life are really based on God. And you can't subject God to, oh, you did this to me. You know? But the benefits that you get come from aspiration. And if you want to be aspired further, yeah, and have understanding and awakening and turn out to be a happy person, yeah, you'll get happiness when you step into the process where your telepathy actually allows you to be aware of the planetary logos incarnated. That's the only time happiness is manifested on Earth, is when the transmission of the planetary logos beats out Satan. And everybody stops their selfish process by the veil of illusion that's over them. They don't have any control over it. Yeah? But by them taking choice and going, I will commit to this. That is Buddha. That is Jesus Christ. I will absolutely commit to that in my mind. And I will never treat it any different. And as every day goes by like that, you end your cycle of karma in the cycle of karma. And you move your cycle of dharma into the overshadowing process. Yeah? And that's where I do my work. That all the things you hear about other people doing what they do is nothing. I don't manifest things, I don't do things like that. But I do manifest the energy and influence of the soul. Yeah? I allow people to get closer to me and I unveil the process of people being able to witness what it is I am. And that what I am is the best part of who they are. Yeah? And I don't care who you are. It's just that you got to be a real you. Yeah? All the fake sides of it, you know, are all part and parcel of an aspect that's destroying the quality of transmission. Yeah? So every time a habit is reduced, relaxation is brought in, more inhibition is brought up, yeah? More influence of right service without there being a pride involved and all the things involved in that. The more that kind of comes into a more natural nature, yeah, the more that fourth ray gets to the base center and stays there. Yeah? Because it's always a balance of trying to work this out between your sacral center and your throat center. And one day you may be quiet, all positive, you know, reassuring rather than manipulating. Yeah? But, you know, you're back. By mid-afternoon, mid-evening, it's going on, you know, and there's nothing I could do. Nothing. You got to do this on your own. Yeah? And every day this goes on, day by day. You have no idea what a 24-hour cycle of you battling, will do for you. It cleans up so much. And you come out like so pretty, and so happy, Does that make sense? Yeah? You're not really giving up anything. You're just not allowing it to manifest. And that's called manifest destiny. You've got to stop it. Yeah? Your disaster, this samsara, this whole thing's bullshit. Yeah? We all have to stop it. And that's manifest destiny. And you cannot, in this heaven, if you want Shambhala, you can't be putting down God's work, no matter what's going on in the world. Yeah? Because negativity, yeah, that doubt and the suspicion and all those things, they have very strong psychic elemental forces, and they bind on goodness. They have the opposite. There's a vice over here. It binds on the good quality that's coming out of Buddha. Yeah? And it doesn't allow that to heal. So imagine at the highest levels when everybody clears this up from here to here, and they got their brow not working the way it is with all that talk and thinking and stuff. Yeah? And the base is in their base center. And I'm actually externalized and people are talking about me with a calm voice, And you could see my face, and you could hear about my past, and you could hear about things, and it's all very interesting. It all kind of fits real reality, because we're going there. We're going to reality, yeah? But in that process, yeah, there's an enormous amount of battle that happens inside of humanity. So that's what the meditation is for. That's what the tools are for. So let's do meditation. Okay, just relax. Let's repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. You can come up if you want. Open the door. Oh, there you are. Make sure you can come up. All right, so let's just relax.
messenger of light. I am a pilgrim on the way of love. I do not walk alone, but I know myself as one with all great souls, and one with them in service. Their strength is mine. This strength I claim. My strength is theirs, and this I freely give. A soul, I walk on earth. I represent the One. The past has gone. I am that past. It makes me what I am. The future comes. I also am the coming destiny, and therefore I am that. The present flows from out the past. The future colors that which is. I make the future also by my present knowledge of the past and the beauty of the present. And therefore I am that I am. Within the circle of the will of God I stand. Without the radius of the world of glamour, I take my place. And there I stand. Just reveals a different lighted way. I take my stand. Before the presence, I will take my place, and there will firmly stand. And stand I see. love is the incentive of our aspiration on the path. Love is the substance of our living in the world. Love is the light and the light of freedom from all creatures. Love pulses through the universe in a divine rhythm. Love is the consciousness of God. May the holy ones whose disciple I am show me the light I seek. May all mankind, may all humanity of all knowledge, may all light on earth make manifest the soul in all things, all life. I invoke the radiant golden sun to manifest the thread of the soul into the kingdoms of the elementals, into the kingdoms of the vegetables, the animals, into the astral plane. I invoke all humanity become the caretakers of the kingdom of God. I invoke the will of God as the soul. I stand before the judgment seat of my soul. I am that soul. All love and light am I. I serve the world and lose myself in service. This is my life, and this is the way that I will tread until the day be with us all. The awakening in the consciousness of humanity, the family of humanity, to bring forth points of energy within themselves, inaugurating certain new techniques in work and in modes of communication. I invoke the group of telepathic communicators. I invoke the group of trained observers. I invoke the group of magnetic healers. I invoke the group of the educators of this new age. I invoke the group of political organizers. I invoke the group of the workers in the field of religion. I invoke the group of scientific servers. I invoke the group of psychologists. I invoke the group of financiers and economists. I invoke all creative workers as the new group. I invoke the externalization of the inner existing of conditions within these groups through the manifestation and the externalization of the avatar. From this moment until the heart of enlightenment is reached, I and all sentient beings as limitless as the sky go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, the deities gathered in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the Supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas, Dakinis, protectors and defenders of the Dharma, who possess the eye of transcending awareness. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, the deities who gather in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the Supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas, Dakinis, protectors and defenders of the Dharma who possess the eye of transcending awareness. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy lamas. We go for refuge to all the yidams, the deities gathered in the mandalas. We go for refuge to all the Buddhas, those who have conquered and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the Supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas, Dakinis, protectors, and defenders of the Dharma, who possess the eye of transcending awareness. To the Buddhas, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. To the Buddhas, the Dhamma, the Supreme Assembly, I go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained by gifts and so on, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. On the crown of my head, and all sentient beings pervading space, there rests a white lotus and a moon seed. From Hri appears the noble, all-seeing one, white, bright, and radiating 5 colored light rays, smiling charmingly and gazing with eyes of compassion. He has 4 arms, the upper two joined together, the lower two holding a white lotus and crystal rosary. He is adorned by precious jewels and silks. A deerskin covers his upper left shoulder. The Buddha, a boundless light, adorns his head. He sits in the Vajrasana. His back is supported by a stainless moon. He is the essence of all sources of refuge. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezig, I pay homage. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezig, I pay homage. Lord, whose white body is not clothed by fault, whose head is adorned by a perfect Buddha, who looks upon all beings with eyes of compassion. To you, Chenrezig, I pay homage. To the Sublime One, the mighty Chenrezig, to the Buddhas and their sons, who reside in the 10 directions and the 3 times, with complete sincerity, I pay homage. I offer flowers, incense, butter lamps, perfume, food, music, and other real and imaginary offerings, and so on, and beseech the noble assembly to accept them. I confess all the unskillful actions caused by the power of conflicting emotions, and the 10 unvirtuous deeds, and the 5 sins of limitless consequence done from beginningless time until now. I rejoice in the spiritual merit of whatever virtue of the Svarvakas, Pratrika Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and ordinary beings gathered throughout the 3 times. I pray that the Dharma wheel of the Mahayana, the Hinayana, and of the teachings common to both be turned in accordance with the wishes and the aptitudes of all beings. I beseech the Buddhas not to pass into nirvana, as long as samsara is not emptied, but to look with compassion upon sentient beings who wallow in the ocean of suffering. May whatever merit I have accumulated be the cause for the enlightenment of all beings. May I quickly become a splendid leader of beings. I pray to you, Lama Chenrezig. I pray to you, Yidam Chenrezig. I pray to you, perfect noble Chenrezig. I pray to you, Lord, Protector Chenrezig. I pray to you, Lord of Love, Chenrezig. Great, compassionate Victor, please hold us with your compassion. Numberless beings who wander in endless samsara experience unbearable suffering. There is no other refuge than you, Protector. Please bestow the blessings to obtain omniscient Buddhahood. By our power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings through the force of anger are born as hell beings and experience the suffer of heat and cold. May they all be born in your presence, perfect deity. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of greed, are born in the realms of the Pretas and experience the suffering of hunger and thirst. May they all be born in your perfect realm, the Potala. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of stupidity, are born as animals and experience the suffering of dullness and stupidity. May they all be born in your presence, the protector. Om Mani Mani Om. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of desire, are born in the human realm and experience the suffering of excessive activity and constant frustration. May they all be born in the pure land of Dewachien. Om Mani Mani. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of jealousy, are born in the realm of the demigods and experience the suffering of fighting and quarreling. May they all be born in your realm, the Potala. By the power of accumulating negative karma from beginningless time, sentient beings, through the force of pride, are born in the realm of the gods and experience the suffering of change and folly. May they all be born in your realm, the Potala. Wherever I am born, may my deeds, by equaling Chenrez's, liberate all beings from impure realms and spread the perfect sound of the 6 syllables in the 10 directions. Through the power of praying to you, perfect noble one, may all beings who I am to discipline pay the greatest attention to action and result, and diligently practice virtue and the Dharma for the benefit of all beings. Through this one-pointed prayer, light radiates from the body of the Sublime One and purifies the impure karma, impure appearances, and the deluded mind. The outer realm is the pure land of Dewachien, and the body, the speech, the mind of the beings therein are the perfect form, the sublime speech, and the pure mind of mighty Chenrezi. The invisible union of appearance, sound, and vivid intelligence with voidness. My body, the bodies of others, and all appearances are the perfect form of the Sublime One. All sounds the melody of the 6 syllables. All thoughts the vastness of the great Shana. Through this virtue, may I quickly achieve the realization of mighty Chenrezi. May I bring every single being to that same state of being. Through the merit of reciting and meditating, may I and every being to whom I am connected, when these imperfect forms are left behind, be miraculously born in Dewachien. And may I then immediately cross the 10 levels and send out the emanations in the 10 directions for the benefit of all others. Through this virtue, may all beings perfect the accumulations of spiritual merit and awareness. May they attain the 2 supreme bodies, which arise from merit and awareness. Bodhisattva is precious. May it arise in those who have cultivated it, and in those who have cultivated it, may it not diminish. May it ever grow, and may it ever flourish.
Okay, just relax. Take it easy. Okay, just open your eyes. So, Shambhala. The process of Shambhala is that it's monadic, and that it is the origin of accumulated soulful qualities that come from humanity that have received me as their teacher over thousands of years. And throughout time I incarnate and I create these regents, or these very close disciples, and they have experiences that are exactly as I say they should. And they continue them on with a lot of understanding that carrying this forth, it will bring results. Yeah. So that's the Jonan, that's the relationship of the Kali Chakra. But there are also others. There's the relationship of the Galupa, there's a relationship of the Nyingmapa, all of those. Even the Nyingmapa, I was representing the Kali Chakra. I put the Kali Chakra mandala right there in my monastery. I surrounded it with stupas and only spoke about the Kali Chakra, and the reason why we needed to take refuge, was to attain that, to carry on a lineage of transmission and end this weird, suspicious process of dark lodge activity inside of Buddhism that's carried over through magic and materialism, and just the fact that it can happen, that psychicism does exist. So all throughout, whether it be the starting off of Sakyamuni Buddha or to today, the teachings is the middle way. And the teaching is to benefit from the teacher. So when we do the Chenrezig Puja, the process is that, we complain, we have things to say, we do good, sometimes we do bad, in the end we pay. And how do we pay? We are not there when the Lord appears. Because it says that right there. If we try, if we really do take refuge and live this life, and we try, our greatest achievement will be the accomplishment of taking birth during the time of the incarnation of the Lord. Because it's all about being incarnated during the incarnation of the Buddha. All the rest is preparation. So that's what the Chenrezig Puja is about. It talks about Chenrezig, the One, or as Avalokitesvara, or as Amitabha, or Manjushri, or Gautama Buddha, or Maitreya, or whatever Buddha you want to give me. It's just one person. There is no other person. And out of that come rays. Now, if there was another person, we would have a real problem. We would then have separation. So God created everything in reality of the complexity of separation. He created oneness, a unified reality of the one. And out of that it ended the whole process of separation. The whole philosophy, the whole ideology, the whole desire for this or that to take charge, or to be the lesser, or to be the greater, or to be the subservient, or whatever comes from all of that. Yeah. The truth is that it had to be the one. Yeah. And inside of it, behind it, all of it, there always was the one. Yeah. So that ancient of days, that ancient process, is what's moved all of this through the process of being able to come to this externalization, this process of humanity that we have today. So we see the world, we see all the changes, all the healing, electric cars, all of that is because people prayed. Yeah. It's because people tried to make a difference in previous lives. People ran from kings and queens. Yeah. People said no to witches and warlocks. People did not. Not everybody burnt. That was a very rare thing, to put a witch on a stake. It really didn't happen. Yeah, they didn't get burnt at the stake or anything like that. Actually, they got hung. You know. But history is a lie. It's all about a drama. Yeah. I mean, you got to have fire, you got to have evil, you got to have all this kind of stuff, so why not build it up? But the truth is the truth. Yeah. And there was only just a couple people that were hung here in the United States for that, in a well-known way in Salem. Yeah. Big time in Europe. Big time. Cut their bowels out, cut their head off, burn them at the stake. Oh yeah, happened. Yeah, that's why everybody came to America. Yeah. And some of those people came with them. They came over and they persecuted people, and they had bigotry and they had prejudice. They carried their religions, they carried their political ambition, you know. And it did affect things, but it didn't, not in any way, shape, or form, the way it did the rest of the world. So out of that, millions and millions and millions of people had the opportunity to turn the wheel of Dharma in the United States and make a difference throughout the whole world, allowing the whole world to receive the blessings of turning that wheel and making it possible for me to incarnate. Yeah. You know, there's an enormous process in doing all this. Yeah. And it's all based on time, on a sequence of time. I started time. Yeah. I started this year, 2018, is based on my name. Yeah. According to the life of Jesus Christ. This is all based on my time. Yeah. But we can be in a totally different time. Just add on all the time that was put in my name. You're in a different kind of time, and you can try and make differences and changes of that. But if you use my time in relativity, in a state of physics, in a state of understanding, you'll find that this is working out a plan, and the coming of the Lord is based on that time cycle. All of it, yeah, whether it be the year 500, the year 50, the year 46, there was without a doubt, there were coming of saints onto the earth from that point on, rather than lunar lords, and there were majorly large numbers of saints coming onto the earth for the last 2,000 years than there are lunar lords or demons or dark forces. They were all purged out just prior to my incarnation. You know, if you look at history and you see it in that way, you understand how this works. So turning the wheel and getting people to become reverent and take refuge is something that will take place. Whether you got tattoos on, whether you're in a gang, no matter what country you're in, if you're in Mexico or Canada or New Zealand or Israel, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's all about planetary logos. Yeah. The whole process of being American or being Canadian or being all these different things are part of the bigotry. Yeah. It's part of the process of ownership. I mean, I'm not saying get rid of all this stuff, but we need to understand it for its holiness. Every name and everything, all things around are named by God. Even the planets, even the asteroids are named by God. You're named by God. Everything is named by God, good or bad. You can't hide from it. Yeah? Sometimes it is never your choice. Yeah? It just is what it is. You end up on this street at this address with this telephone number. You know, holy crap. Yeah? The numbers are just adding up too much. Yeah? And it's never a coincidence. Yeah? There's always the divine hand of God. And it's moving things. Everybody. It's moving everybody. And people are not clamoring together, joining a church to make this happen. It's happening from previous lives. From a lot of faith that was oriented from my previous lives. Of getting people to wake up during the time of being in my presence. And it's the cycle of being in my presence that makes the difference. It's not the cycle of not being in my presence. Yeah? You know? So this is a big cycle of moving people through that process of the presence. Yeah? So that's what this meditation's for, is just to increase that process. So enjoy. Thank you very much.